knowledge being spread. It's like warm butter across the bread. Smooth, I know you like that. Flow with the grain and don't fight that. You want righteous love, you found the right match. With Marty McFly, they on the right track. Yeah, gotta dig the dirt to plant the seed. Spread roots till you sprout like a tree. Donnie Jones, she the one you wanna see. Donnie Jones Live, this is where you wanna be. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live.
Hey, welcome to Donnie Jones Live. I am Donnie, the tree lady, hanging out with that guy.
That guy, Marty McFly. What it do? What it do? What's going on, Miss Donnie?
Oh my God.
What is going on? I know everything and everything and nothing at the same time, but there's a whole lot of craziness going on.
This is going to be a very interesting show. For those of you that are checking us out, thank you for checking us out, by the way. Got to say what's up to my peoples out there. Thank you all for tuning in to us every week. We really do appreciate it.
Yes.
Dude, are we going back in time again?
You know, it seems like, we're going to biblical times. When they pulling out the golden statues and all of that kind of stuff, and it's like, really?
Aren't we supposed to not bow down to idols or pray to idols, idol worshiping? They talked about that. Now, I have to put this in your lap because you know me, I always talk about being more spiritual than religious. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But there are certain principles that I just feel like we have to adhere to. And I'm not trying to jump crazy into the show right now, but we're going to jump crazy because I don't...
Well, you got to let them know what we're talking about, too, though. Yeah.
Marty's president, or ex-president, spoke at an event, and at this event, they had a golden statue of 45. I don't even say his name anymore.
Right.
I'm so disgusted. And oh, by the way, the views of this show do not necessarily reflect the reviews of this station. So
but please, it should.
It should. But do not go back to the station complaining that we are anti this or anti that. We are pro-love. We're pro-people. We're pro-God. We're pro-spirituality. We're pro-truth.
I'm anti-45. I don't sign up for that.
I don't sign up.
Even if they're doing a news break on him, I really don't even want to give him any kind of a credit or anything. But it is crazy.
Tell me what you think about that thing, that situation.
It's a sad reality because most of these people that follow him, they're in church on Sunday morning.
Yep.
They are. And they're like, oh, this is God, and he's
they had one of the big pastors down there, that the blonde lady that built her ministry on the backs of black people is now a hardcore conservative talking head, bobblehead, as you will. And I don't care if, whatever. She built her ministry on the backs of black folks, and then when she saw that it was very good marketing to jump to the other side and support unknown races, she did.
And I don't understand how you can go to church on Sunday and support this guy, knowing everything that he's done, but at the same time, here's a crazy situation, Donnie. It was a question that I had this week too, in my Bible classes and everything else. How do you reprogram yourself? When everything that you're surrounded around is giving you false information, but you don't know.
Right.
Growing up in a small town, everything you saw and believed, it is what it is. I grew up thinking that, if you sleep with the fan on you, you're gonna catch a cold.
Right. Right. Step on a crack, break your mother's back.
Right. These are the belief systems. So how do you change that? Because these people right now that are following that guy, they have been lied to.
Yeah.
They've been bamboozled in a sense, and they don't know that, this is the lie.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of like, because last week they supposed to, he can still be reelected.
Jesus.
All of
Sworn
this
in on they're saying March 4th because
back in 1930.
Actually, it's 17 or you're right, 1933.
Yeah.
Whatever. You guys, you can look this stuff up online, but honestly, we got to get back to making sense. Yeah. And we got to get back to caring for each other as people. And this time around, because there is going to be a uproar from his supporters, and there's going to be people, coming out hard, to support this type of ideology. But here's what we have to do as people of faith. Mm-hmm. We have to stand up against any type of racism, sexism, any kind of injustice. We do. But we have to pull back a little bit on our vitriol towards the people. And I know it's the people that are doing the damage, but I was on a plane this weekend, and I sat right next to, I'm in one seat, this lady's in the next. She had the cutest little baby boy who was like 3-4 months old, and she was feeding him, and I was taking my daughter to a college visit. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I remember when my little one was that age. And we got to talking about motherhood. We got to talking about, things she's, looking forward to as, being a mom. And I got to talking to her about my daughter and stuff. Great conversation. And then it took a left turn, or should I say a right turn? Because she was talking about she's just worried about the world that her kids are growing up in. And I was like, well, the world is getting better. I was like, we're starting to see more inclusion. I was like, look at us. You're this, young white lady from Lynchburg, Virginia.
Lynchburg.
Put a pin in that one.
Yeah.
I was like, and I'm this black lady, that has very liberal values, but honors and respect and has a relationship with God. I was like, things are changing. She goes, but Doni, you don't understand, because we had kind of been conversing for a while. She goes, they are taking God out of everything, and they illegally got rid of our president. And I was like, what? Huh? What? What? She goes, because she had talked about being a businesswoman. She goes, and you as an entrepreneur, I don't understand how you can support these people. And she honestly, this is why I say we got to love the people. She believes all that stuff. The QAnon stuff, she was one of them. Wow. And she was like me, I've got black friends, and I'm not gonna.
You're on the plane with me. You're my black friend.
She goes, I'm not racist. She goes, I just love this country, and I don't like the way it's going. I was like, but I didn't like the way it was. Do you understand that? Yeah. I was like, it's better for me now than it ever has been. And actually, if you look at it as a mom of a child that is growing up in a community where we're talking more about the future and more about the environment and more about taking care of our planet, I was like, and we're talking about being kind to one another, that in and of itself is something good. She didn't want to hear it. She was like, nope, Doni, they and I thought about it. She's a real person. She was scared for her child's future based on the stuff that she's being told. So at some point, we've got to, and here's the other story with her. She got pregnant at a young age, and she's not very educated. She's smart though, real smart lady. Come from a small town. Her husband's military, and she's actually been around the world with her husband. He's in the Navy, and she really believes this stuff.
Well, Doni, here's the thing.
So how do we deal with that?
It's funny. On the individual aspect of it, you got to educate yourself. Get more knowledge about what's going on.
But how do we educate those people that really believe this stuff?
That's the hard part. That's what I was saying, the hard part, because what they're doing is they're signing up listening to the Fox News. Where their information is coming from.
Well, they're turning against Fox now, but now Fox is trying to get them back. So they're going hardcore again on. So
all Fox do is they highlight this guy's speech, and they start getting people back behind him so they can get their viewership. Yeah. Because it changes, because instead of giving the facts out to the people, it's kind of like, how do we get our ratings? Right. How do we tell these people what they really already believe? Right. How do we foster this lie? Yeah. It's like having the wrong kind of books in elementary schools that talk about Black history. Right. It's kind of like you're giving a false information. Right.
But that's another thing they fight against. They don't want the real history of this country to be told. But here's my thing. There's nothing wrong with talking about the real history of this country. Right. And then honoring the fact that we're trying to do better now.
We're moved
like,
on.
We're moving
past
on.
that.
Like
Right.
that's a beautiful thing about this country is that we're moving on and we're doing better.
How can this person say?
I think I just spilled coffee all down my shirt. But anyway,
how can this person say, they took away our president, and at the same time saying they're trying to take God out of everything?
Yeah.
Because he's the one that's trying to do that too.
Yeah.
He is against religion. Well, you know what? I'm not going to say.
He's not. Well, he uses it conveniently.
Yeah.
He's not a religious person.
He's not a religion.
But he has sold it to
at
them as if he is. And there's nothing you and I could say to convince them different.
Oh, no. I remember we had the guy that worked with us about 2 years ago, one of our techs or whatever, videographers. And I remember
and let's preface, he was a black guy.
He was a black guy,
there are black people that support him.
And he was really ingrained, with that guy. And it's like even we would sit there and have these conversations like, why?
Yeah.
All of these facts. And it was the emotion. He just felt that he was right. He just had that emotion, and anything that you could say factual, they try to debunk it like, no, that's not real. That's not, that's fake news.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
But here's the funny thing. Here's why it's scary. A lot of the news out there is fakes. Now, facts are not fake, but the way it's presented is fake. And we'll talk about that in the next segment. But I always say that, Fox wants you to hate everybody and CNN wants you to be scared. And I'm telling you, or it could be vice versa, depending on how you look at it. And we got to get to the point where we start looking at each other as fellow human beings and fellow Americans and go, listen, I don't agree with you on this particular issue, but you're my brother, you're my sister. As long as you're not trampling on the rights of others, we've got to find a way to come together.
But that's the sad part, though, Donnie.
Yeah.
Because we do want to come together, but Republicans, I've said this before, Democrats want to be right. Republicans just want to win.
It's true.
And it's like, even if you say, well, let's compromise, they're trying to do things right now with the voting situation here in Georgia. Because they're like, well, let's take away their vote, and it's like, okay, you're not playing fair.
You're not playing fair.
Let's be, if we're going to compromise and work together, let's do it.
Right.
But every time we do that, then you got like the snake in the weeds that are like,
But here's the other thing. And this is where it comes in to be a good thing that I'm independent. A lot of the stuff that is on the left isn't necessarily right and conducive for a successful business, a successful life, or a successful, marriage, or a successful community. Some of it is, a lot of it is, but there are certain things like you can't there's no such thing as making everything equal.
Right.
Everybody should have equal rights, but not everybody is equally gifted.
Right, everybody's not equally gifted, and Democrats are not always right. Republicans are not always right.
Exactly.
Right or wrong. But what we need to do is, like when they're in Congress, they are arguing against Democrats just because you're Democrat.
Exactly.
And the other side is doing the same thing just because you're Republican.
Right.
And it's like, what happens for the people?
You know who hurts?
The people.
Right. The people are the ones that are hurting right now. And neither side is listening to that. Neither side is understanding that at some point this has got to stop being a game. Because I really feel like it's a game to them.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk a little bit more about that.
We got to.
We know this is a little bit more serious conversation, but we love you and we want to have these real conversations. So we'll be right back. You're listening to Donnie Jones Live, where I'm Donnie the Tree Lady.
And I'm Marty McFly. I got to look at my camera because you just be taking it all off. Anyway, we'll be right back.
It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live.
Hi, I'm Donnie the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service and author of my book, From Failure to Fabulous. From Failure to Fabulous is my story about taking my life from being an abject failure to building a fabulous life that I absolutely love. And I'm hoping that you'll take the time to check out my book, From Failure to Fabulous.
Be inspired by Donnie's journey from failure to fabulous, as she explains how she started with $45 and a business card. And with perseverance and commitment, she took that small dream and turned it into $1 million company. From Failure to Fabulous by Donnie Jones, the Tree Lady. Available on Amazon and all online bookstores. Liberty Christian Center. As the temperatures begin to rise, let the Spirit of the Lord rise in you. Recognize that you're in the season of greater with the one who is greater. The Liberty Christian Center, living with expectation. This and every week, join Pastor Rodney and Karen Gilchrist, along with the Liberty Christian Center family, as we purify our lives through the words of Jesus Christ. Join us Sundays at 11 a.m. for our Sunday morning worship, and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for our WOW service. Worshiping on Wednesday. Join us online at straightjesus.com. That's STR8 Jesus.com. Liberty Christian Center, 4107 West Cliff Road in Killeen, Texas. We are declaring the year of greater.
Hey, this is your girl, Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. Don's Tree Service has been serving the metro Atlanta area for almost 20 years. I'm a certified arborist, and we are fully licensed and insured. Call us at 770-413-TREE. We give free estimates, and we don't charge extra for cleanup. Don's Tree Service, that's 770-413-TREE, or visit us online at donstree.com. Hey, I'm Doni, the Tree Lady. We are back. You're listening to Donnie Jones Live, where I'm actually looking at the right camera now. No, I'm just kidding.
But if you're on the radio, you
on the radio or on our
the
podcast,
it doesn't really matter. But yeah.
And by the way, check out our podcast. This isn't just a radio show or talk show. Mm-hmm. We are actually on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on SoundCloud. Now, we did have a little bit of technical difficulties, so you'll see some of our older shows. But all of our current content, you can actually get on YouTube. And then obviously we're on some stations throughout the nation and continuing
unfortunately,
to grow that.
our podcast, for some reason, and they say you're not supposed to bring up bad news, but it caught COVID.
Yeah, I know, right?
It just caught COVID, and something was wrong, and we just noticed, like, wait a minute, our stuff ain't out there. What don't happen? Yeah. So we're doing some technical.
Up to November. Actually, I think we've got February, some stuff from
February. We got some February.
So if you want to go back and check out our show and see what we're about and
and complain about us, we would love that. We would love that.
So but we do need you to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Go to YouTube and subscribe, and then obviously check us out on iTunes and carry us with you.
Yes, carry us with you, or even call the radio station that you're listening to us on and just say, you know what, you give us a 2 thumbs up now.
Yeah, give us 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
And then you can also call us directly at 1-888-349-DONI, 1-888-349-DONI.
1-888? Okay. All right.
Is that not right?
I thought it was like 844. I don't know. It's been a minute since I said the number. 1-888-349-DONI, right?
Yeah, now I'm scared, y'all. Okay, whatever's at the bottom of the screen, if you're watching this on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or any other place that you see it.
Donnie. There's so many numbers in my head right now. I know at the end of it is Donnie.
Yeah.
You know, but no. And you know what's interesting about that is nowadays people are not using phones anymore. Yeah. And I realized that because, you know, with doing ministries and all that kind of stuff, it's like, well, why don't we do a phone call and the prayer line? You're like, well, you know, millennials, they don't do the phone. Send me a text.
Yeah.
You know, I think you was talking about it the other week about your daughter. You would call her, and she is
answer a text.
Yeah, she is sitting back and text what you want.
Yeah.
You know,
I want you to pick the phone up. That's what I want you to do.
Yeah. You know, and it's funny for me. I pretty much do the same thing except for my wife. You know, my wife calls, I'm an answer.
He does it to me. He does it to me.
You know, no, I answer your calls majority of the time. You know, unless I'm praying. I'm saying she'll call me while I'm in the middle of my sermon.
It ain't that much praying in the world, okay?
Yeah, but see, Donnie will wake up and have a thought at 4 a.m. and like, hey,
it's a good idea.
It's a good, and I just, what's up? You know, it's a quicker response. It's, you know, you can think things through, like, what? Okay. Yeah. You know, and if you got to think things through, you just don't respond for a minute. Yeah. You're just like, Yeah. But no. So if you do we have a text number?
We should. Yes, we are working on that. By next show, we'll give you our text number.
Okay. Yeah. Text or Donnie. We're gonna think that through. But anyway, back to what we were talking about before the break. How do we, or is it a fix in this United States with dealing with the Democrats and the Republicans who are not really fighting for the people? It's just we want to fight to win,
right? And
we want you to lose, you know. And it's not about.
I think the fix is that we've got to vote people in that actually have our best interests at heart. Because everybody's saying they have our best interests. All of them say they do. But here's the thing, though. I do run a company. If I have a company, or say I ran a bigger company, like a large corporation, and they have a board of directors,
right?
Or they have people that run the company. If they got into a room and couldn't make a decision, they would actually be replaced eventually. But that doesn't happen in our government. They get into a room, fight with one another, can't make a decision, and they just keep doing it.
They keep doing it, but they're, like I said, I think this last bill that they're trying to do right now, it is more so, how do we make this president look bad?
Yeah.
How do we, knock whatever they're trying to push? How do we knock it?
Yeah.
And we say, well, it takes us to vote.
Yeah.
But even when we vote, it's almost like, well, we voted for this Democrat to be in there,
right,
but he doesn't have a real voice. It depends on what the Democrats want to do.
Right.
Like we just voted, what was his name, Warnock in. Now, Warnock is not going to go up there and ruffle no feathers. Unfortunately, he's going to go up there.
Repeat what you said.
He's not going to go to the Senate and ruffle feathers. If they said that,
but I'm glad you just said that, because that's what these people run on.
Right.
They run on the fact that they're going to go in, they're going to make changes,
right,
they're going to do this. You're going to finally have somebody in the Senate that
cares about the people.
About you. They get up there, they got the position.
And then it's like, okay, this is your office.
Yeah.
Here's your agenda.
Yeah.
And this is where you stay. Don't ruffle.
Shut up, be quiet.
Because I'm saying, how is it that you have a bill on the table, and 100% of the Democrats vote yes, and 100% of the Republicans vote no?
That's somebody not thinking.
Right.
They're not
thinking. It's just what we gonna vote on today.
Yeah. We'll have a back and forth. There'll be a discussion. There's some stuff we agree on. There's some stuff we don't. But that's because we're talking.
We're talking.
We're trying to really make ourselves heard. There's not going to be 100% of everything I agree with, and there's not going to be 100% everything you agree with. So how is, like you said, how is everything 100% yes or 100% no?
Yeah, because it should be something
they're
not thinking. It's just, what does Pelosi say we're supposed to vote?
Oh.
And unfortunately, that's the way it goes.
Did he just tell the truth?
Unfortunately, that's the way it is, because if you had people in there that was really critically thinking, saying what is best, okay, certain things.
But critical thinking isn't admired, it seems, anymore.
No,
I think this would be a great place to talk about this. We talked about how we were going to bring up this thing with COVID, and I have to be very, very careful, because I already put out a post, and y'all Facebook people kind of was like,
they pulled her down, and
here's the
it
thing.
might be a reason why our stuff stopped going out there. They just said, let's go ahead, though, finish. Go ahead.
I'm gonna hurt him.
So
facts, exactly. Fact is, COVID is real.
Yes, it is.
Fact. Fact, it's contagious.
Yes.
Fact, most of the people that are dying from this have some type of underlying health issue. Fact, we should wear masks, and masks are helpful.
Yes.
Fact, we should not be shutting down our country because of this. Because most of what is going on right now is political, and it's money driven. And there are going to be people that are making money off of a pandemic as opposed to really solving the problem, which is telling people to get their life in order, because you can't say that anymore. Telling people to get
that mayor got released.
Tell people to get their health in order.
Well,
tell people, and I know there's sensitive situations where people are medically sensitive, but when you got 70-something% of this country, and I'm a curvy girl, so I'm not speaking out of line here when I say 70% of this country is fat, overweight, and is not healthy.
I agree with that.
And so when you have an unhealthy immune system, you cannot fight the pathogens that come to attack you. But instead of talking about, now I'm starting to see more and more people talk about, health and nutrition and stuff like that. You can in a healthy way open this country back up. This is my opinion. This is not reflect the views of this.
No, this is not the views of most people. This is only Donnie's view.
Yeah,
the one that was on the plane last week. Yeah, this is
and I'm
only
glad you brought
Donnie's
that up.
view.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
The people that are in the know about this, the people that are educated about this, the people that are making decisions about this, to understand the seriousness of this disease, but also understand how it's transmitted, how lethal it is, and who it's lethal to. You know what they're doing? They're traveling. They're hanging out with their friends.
Yeah,
They're
the
taking
ones
care
that
of
the
their
ones that
bodies.
have like good health care and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
The ones that can afford to get
exactly.
sick and get better.
Even the ones that can't necessarily, that are not wealthy. It doesn't take wealth. It does
I'll say this.
It does not take wealth to be healthy.
Well,
It does not.
Wait, time out. That is just like the Republicans saying about the what is it, the minimum wage?
Yeah.
Of saying, you can live off of minimum wage and you should grow up like that and just understand that.
First of all, minimum wage jobs were not, this is where he and I are going to disagree.
Right. So let me finish this out.
Finish this false statement. Go ahead.
Right. So you say eat healthy. In my community or in most communities,
A banana is 59 cents.
You know,
Bottled water 79 cents to $1.
yeah. Is that all you eat?
No.
Okay, so do you eat like fish and do you eat the protein
yeah.
and stuff? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Some people ain't got that option.
They have tuna.
Yeah, they ain't got that option. But it's easy for you to say, well, just eat a biscuit.
I've been to Wayfield
I think
Foods.
ain't nothing in that. You said Wayfield, ain't nothing in there safe. You walk in there and it stank. It sounds like.
Dude, but I'm saying if that's your grocery store.
Do you think that's a healthy place?
I know people that live in the community
Yes.
that eat healthy. In the community.
Wait, what?
I know people
in
in
this
the
community.
You know what? Why you met?
Okay.
We're not
I just
doing
want to
that
make
right
sure.
now.
In this community.
In the communities that I serve, there are healthy people. I've got a friend of mine
and these are
right
the
now
people that have
has had
houses that could afford tree service and tree work and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, they eat healthy.
Not all of my customers are wealthy.
Okay.
In fact, most of my customers are middle.
How many of
to
your
lower-
clients stay in an apartment?
What?
How many of your clients stay in an apartment?
That's different.
But that's majority of the people in that community.
A lot of my customers, my customers are either homeowners or commercial property. We're not talking about that.
Right, because you don't see those. I'm saying those, they can eat healthy.
Okay, they live in the same communities where there are apartments.
Right, but they're on the other side of the tracks.
Right now in Lithonia, there's an amazing restaurant called Green Love, which I'm gonna have him on my show, and we're gonna talk about this.
Yeah.
Because he serves the poor communities and the middle class communities, and he provides.
You got 5
healthy,
kids.
green.
If you got 5
and that's
kids,
another thing.
and you living on.
Why you got 5 kids?
Because I had a different I had a different upbringing that you did. So why are you judging them?
I'm not judging.
Yeah, you are.
I'm
saying in the sense, why you got 5 kids?
I've got 2.
Yeah.
Okay. And I stopped at 2.
Okay.
And it was a choice.
Okay, that was.
If you were over 18 and you got a cell phone, you can choose not to get pregnant. Because all you got to do is Google how do you don't get pregnant. And y'all can hate me if you want to. You can hate me if you want to. My dad raised us in various communities. We were raised in a poor community, and then we went to a middle class community.
Yep.
My dad had 6 girls that was up between him and my mom. And then he had 2 other kids that, as a whole, y'all know my story about my dad. None of his daughters, not one of his daughters had a child outside of wedlock. Not one. And these were poor communities, but it's how we were taught. We were taught you don't do that.
Okay,
you don't do that. You don't put yourself in a position where you're gonna have my dad said to me, you do not have sex with a stupid man and get pregnant by a stupid man that can't take care of you and can't take care of himself.
Okay, so that is great.
It has no value for taking care of a family.
So that would be good if they were still young. But now you're dealing with people.
Exactly.
Let's go to commercials. Because we about to get heated on this.
We gonna get heated.
Yeah.
No, because
you're listening to Donnie Jones Live with Donnie Jones
and Marty McFly.
Yeah. Don't get mad at me.
It's Donnie Jones Live. Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live. Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live. Donnie Jones Live.
Hey,
this is your girl, Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. Don's Tree Service has been serving the metro Atlanta area for almost 20 years. I'm a certified arborist, and we are fully licensed and insured. Call us at 770-413-TREE. We give free estimates, and we don't charge extra for cleanup. Don's Tree Service, that's 770-413-TREE, or visit us online at donstree.com. Hey, I'm Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service and author of From Failure to Fabulous. From Failure to Fabulous is my opportunity to share with you my trials and tribulations of growing a tree service or growing a small business and making it successful by overcoming adversity, and also giving you some tidbits on what you can do on a day-to-day basis to achieve your dreams and be the best that you can be. And you can find us on Amazon. You can go to Donnie Jones Live. Anywhere that books are sold, you should be able to find us.
Now, back to more Donnie Jones Live with Donnie and Marty McFly.
Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live. Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live. Donnie Jones Live.
Welcome back to Donnie Jones Live, where I'm a choke Marty
don't
McFly.
choke me. You know,
No,
because
if they've already got the 5, okay, this is piggybacking.
Wait,
We're
we're talking about
COVID and eating healthy, and he's saying you can't eat healthy in urban communities, which is a lie.
what?
Anyway,
No. What I am saying, see, don't be the Republican and try to twist
I'm
the
not a
words.
Republican, I'm
what I
independent.
said is, you made the statement that everybody should be able to eat healthy.
they should be. Yes, there are
and
food
everybody-
deserts. There are food deserts in this country.
Right. Right now,
Okay.
people are coming to.
I can go to the poorest. I work in some of the poorest communities in Atlanta, and I will stop at a convenience store. I'll get myself a bottle of water, a banana, and a protein bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because you're visiting one of these poor communities, and you went to their convenience store, you was able to buy a banana and a water,
Yeah.
and everybody should be able to
Yeah.
live
I
off
went
of.
to- I went to,
Wait.
what
Let
is
me
that?
make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. Everybody should be able to live off a banana and some water.
Ingles. I went to Ingles, which is another grocery store that
that doesn't go into black communities.
it's in black communities. It is on
But that's Publix
Harrison
that don't
Road.
go.
On Harrison Road. And you know what? You know where I went in there and did? I bought one of those little pre-made salads.
Oh yeah.
And I actually did it on one of my shows. If you go to YouTube and the journey, I forget which day it is, but I actually stood there in the parking lot.
Okay.
And put the salad dressing on my salad in a urban community where people say you can't get stuff healthy
So
to eat.
let me just make sure I'm understanding, because we touched on a few things, and you are upset with people that have more kids and 5 kids and stuff like that.
No, I'm not
And you're
upset with
saying
them.
that they,
Once you're in that position, you got to do your best to rise up out of it. There is this mentality that we can't do, and we can do.
I know, I do believe that we can always do
that
better.
is the problem. I'm independent. I'm not Republican, but I do not like how Democrats come into our community and act like we're just so poor and we're just so downtrodden. And if they don't make some kind of policy to help us, woe is me. We just not gonna do better. I'm sick of it.
But you know,
I'm sick of that mentality.
You know, it's,
Because we're not like that. There's greatness in our community.
Yeah, but you know what? I think this is the biggest argument that we all have. You know, because depending on how you were raised, where you're at in life, and what you've been exposed to, everybody can take those positions of, well, I got it. Why can't everybody else get it?
But, okay,
wait. Let me
Go
finish.
ahead.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
But then you have areas in this community that they do not have those same opportunities. You know, the educational system in those communities aren't
You're
giving
absolutely
you
right.
that. You
I'm
know,
agreeing with you.
And they live in this, and it does take maybe 1 or 2 people that can get out of there that come back and help.
And that's why I continue to go back. That's why I speak at schools. That's why I do stuff in the community I don't even advertise or talk about. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because I care, and it's not about getting notoriety. It's not about saying,
it shouldn't be
I
about
was
that.
over at such and such school. I had an event I was at my daughter's college visit, and I was on a Zoom call for a local school in DeKalb County. Mm-hmm. You know, and this school is doing great things in DeKalb County. They are talking about the STEM program, science, technology, environment, and what's the M stand for?
Math.
Yeah, see, I don't even know. So anyway, I'm
And
over there
she's the
and I'm
speaker.
speaking, exactly. But I'm saying they invited people into those schools and there was me and a panel of other people that were talking about the environment, talking about science,
Right.
giving these kids the idea that, listen, there's there's opportunities in the in science and technology.
I should say it like this: there's not a situation where there's no hope for people. People can always do better. They can always strive better. Sometimes they do need assistance to get there.
And guess they do. They do need assistance to get there. But at some point, we've got to admit, if it is to be, it is up to me.
Right.
If it is to be, it's up to me. And I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. You know, there was a lot of abuse.
Most of us
there was
not.
a lot of abuse in our home. Yeah, my dad owned his own tree service, but he also went through a lot of ups and downs.
Right,
And
that's life.
I always say that the dude was mentally ill. He was never diagnosed, but I mean, there's just some stuff you just don't do. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're crazy, which he was. I went through a lot of depression in our family. We have alcoholism that runs in our family, sexual abuse that runs in our family. I could have used that as an excuse to not do better. I'm an awesome mom. In fact, I perceive myself to be a rock star mom. I am an awesome mom. I did not have an awesome mom. I did not. My mom did the best she could with what she had and what she knew how to do.
Right.
But
And
my mom
you know
was not nurturing and stuff. So how did I learn to be nurturing?
You know what's interesting, Donnie?
Because I wanted to do better.
Right. You wanted to do better, and I will say this: be thankful. Really be thankful, because you are in the small few of people that actually grew up with a dad or father figure.
But he was a nut job.
Even though he was a nut job, but you had him in your life.
I did.
And you learned a trade from him that you're working with now, that made you a big company. So your father established you way back then.
Yes, but there's a lot of kids there's a lot of people from single parent moms that have done well for themselves.
They have, but then there's a lot of them that don't know who a role model is. They don't have a father in there.
I am agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you, but at some point in 2021, you stop choosing. You stop choosing to kick it with stupid men. And you want to know what you talk about my dad's influence, right? One of my dad's influence was, you don't sleep with stupid men, and you don't let a man put a baby in you, and he can't take care of you, and he can't take care of himself.
That's why I said you had a wonderful, good father. That could put that into your head, because
wait, time out. We can pass those lessons down. We're having this conversation on air right now.
Right.
Somebody can hear that and go, wait a minute, I'm laid up with this dude butt naked, and we getting ready to do whatever it is we getting ready to do. I ain't got a job. He ain't got a job. He got a baby mama already. You know, he living with his mama, and I'm going to let this dude touch me? No, I'm not. I'm getting up right now and choosing to do different.
I'm going to get up right now, and I can do that, and I'm out here on my own, and I do understand what you're saying with that.
And there are men and women that choose differently.
Right. Hold on. Time out. Get off the soapbox for a second.
I like
and just hear. Right. Because what I'm saying is, you had someone that could tell you that. There are so many people that don't have.
I agree.
And here's the thing: by the time that they find that out, when I asked you that question in the first break of how do you reprogram yourself? Yeah. Because right now, in these communities,
listening to you, people can reprogram themselves.
Well, you hush. Let me finish the thought.
Okay, finish your thought.
Right. In these communities, if you don't have those positive role models, if you don't have those people that say, think things through about sleeping with this guy. If you don't have that, a lot of these people are programmed to live the ghetto life. Right. Because everything that they see, everything that's around them is the ghetto life. The people that, it was a young girl, actually it was a program that was on TV, that she was sitting there, and this is her honest opinion, talking to the producers. Wait, I know everybody's been in jail at least once or twice. And she's like, no, I haven't been in jail. You lying. Right. Everybody's been in jail.
Right. Because that's the perception. Right.
This is their life. This is what they've been around. This is what they've been exposed to. So when they get to the age of 25 or 26, and this has been everything that they've been exposed to, how do you reprogram that? Because they didn't have that father in the beginning.
You know what you do? Nowadays, in my opinion, nowadays there's no excuse. You want to do better? Just like you can Google Gucci Mane or Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion, Google, how do I get into a better situation? How do I get an education? How do I make more money? How do I learn about how my brain works?
I've dealt with people like this at the church. And this is what I have to actually change my approach to this, because I've had some individuals that it's like, you know what, you need to get your life right. You need to get your life better.
You sometimes help them, you
But see,
take them by the hand.
That's the thing. We constantly tell them, get better, do better. But
we don't tell them how.
But we don't tell them how.
But
we don't. And it's like,
Marty,
well, just Google.
How do you
Google
steps.
do better? Just think about that.
How can
just
I get
go Google and do better.
Marty, I'm gonna tell you a real story.
Okay.
How I met you. I don't know how to do what we do right now. I'm learning. Okay. When I met you, I didn't know how to do a show. We met because I was already doing something in my, with my tree service or whatever.
Right.
But I've always liked telling stories. I've always liked talking to people. I've always, felt good about sharing the ups and the downs of what I've been through, and I felt like I could be of service to people. So I didn't know how to do it, but I asked somebody, how do you do this?
Right.
How do you do this? The guy that I met you through, I said to him, I was like, man, because he was interviewing me. And I was like, man, this is so cool how you're able to do this. And he goes, well, you have a voice too. I was like, well, it's funny you say that, because I actually do want to do that. I just don't know how to. How do you do that? And he said, well, you know what? The guy that's sitting on the other side of the booth, which was you, Marty, he knows how to do all that stuff. My mom always said, a closed mouth don't get fed.
Right.
I said, I don't know how, and how do I do it to someone? And they in turn turned me to you. You've taught me so much about cameras. You've taught me so much about production. You taught me so much about getting my voice out there, my temperament, what things to do on camera and stuff like that. And I'm still working on that.
Right.
But your background, 20, 30 years in the industry, I said, how do I do it? And I got an answer. I'll be honest with you. Even with my own tree, I grew up in the tree care industry, but my dad was not a successful, long-term successful businessman. So when I got into this industry, I went to successful people and I said, how do I do this? And there were some people that listened and some people that didn't. I read books. I've said it 1,000. I've got my own book, Doni, From Failure to Fabulous.
Right.
I wrote this because I wanted it to be a simple how-to on how to become successful and get yourself out of this. And I still got a long way to go. But there's books that are over 100 years old. Right now, I'm gonna tell somebody how to do it, and you know what? There's probably, if 1,000 people are listening to me, only one person is gonna do it. There's a book out there that's been out there forever, Think and Grow Rich. There's another one called The Power of Positive Thinking. There's another one out there, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Right.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And guess what? I'm not the only person that talks about these books.
No.
You Google right now, there's not hundreds of thousands, there's millions of books out there on how to do that. All you do is Google it or YouTube it.
So assuming that everybody can read.
Oh God.
No, I'm saying these are the areas that you got to understand. Okay.
That's the beautiful thing. You ain't got to know how to read.
You got to have step 1, step 2. And it's
Hey
easy.
Siri.
Huh?
Can you give me the audio version of Think and Grow Rich?
And how much does it cost? $13.99. Okay.
Free.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Think and Grow Rich is free.
Yeah, you can go online right now. You can go online right now onto YouTube and go put Think and Grow Rich in, and the audio version, somebody's got it online for free. The one that I listen to right now, The Science of Getting Rich, on audio right now.
The Science of Getting Rich?
The Science of Getting Rich.
Is that the same as Think and Grow Rich? Is that the same one?
This is a different one. This one's by Wallace Wattles. If anybody's familiar with that book, The Secret, it was based on the book The Science of Getting Rich, which is by Wallace Wattles.
Okay, yeah.
Free.
Let's take a break, because you.
No, we can take a break. But these are the things that I'm talking about. These are the things I'm talking about. It's hard. And here's the thing, though.
Well, let me time out. We have to take a break.
Okay, let's. Okay.
She's got all up in there. Just real quick, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Donnie Jones with with Marty McFly. We're talking about just, I guess, society and people, and how there's always 2 arguments to every situation. But we're gonna take a quick break and be right back. You're listening to Donnie Jones Live with Donnie Jones and Marty McFly.
Yeah.
It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live.
Hi, I'm Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service and author of my book, From Failure to Fabulous. From Failure to Fabulous is my story about taking my life from being an abject failure to building a fabulous life that I absolutely love. And I'm hoping that you'll take the time to check out my book, From Failure to Fabulous.
Be inspired by Doni's journey from failure to fabulous, as she explains how she started with $45 and a business card. And with perseverance and commitment, she took that small dream and turned it into $1 million company. From Failure to Fabulous by Doni Jones, the Tree Lady. Available on Amazon and all online bookstores. Now, back to more Doni Jones Live with Doni and Marty McFly.
Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live. Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live. Doni Jones Live.
Hey, welcome back to Doni Jones Live. I've taken a sip of coffee.
And she's still crunk.
And I'm still crunk.
She's still in that.
No,
Yeah.
but you know what, Marty? I'm glad we're having this conversation. Because I think
Remind everybody what we're talking about.
We are talking about what the heck are we talking about? No, we're talking about how in society there's this idea that, you know, it's so hard to do better, and there's what if you don't? Marty was saying, what if you don't have resources? What if you don't have this?
Right.
And of course, there are going to be people that don't have resources, but that's when it's our responsibility. If you're blessed, you're supposed to be a blessing.
Right.
And right now, we're trying to be a blessing. You bless people through your ministry. I try to bless people through my shows and through my podcast and through my book. And by the way, if you can't afford my book, if you email me at Doni@DoniJonesLive.com, Doni@DoniJonesLive.com, and you mention this, I'll go ahead and send you a copy of my book. I'll just send it to you. If you're really that.
But now
they otherwise, I want you to go buy it on Amazon.
But you know, there's always an individual thing of saying, you know, if you want to do better, you know, start or try. You know, do better. I guess the break in the chain is not those people that don't know how to change, that don't know, and it's easy to say. I'm saying because this. In our life, we're in entertainment. We're always constantly doing stuff. For me to say, you don't know the Bible? Right. Huh? Because I've been dealing with it all my life. But some people do not have that blessing of being exposed, and they don't even know. It's like this, you don't know what you don't know. Right now, you don't know really what you don't know. Even when I was teaching at Morris Brown College, I realized once I started understanding what production was and everything, I realized, I didn't know anything. I need to get deeper in this. Some people don't know, okay, if you want to get better, like you were saying, well, Google this. They don't have that person in that community sometimes to say, Google this. You know, some people, they don't ever get out of that area that they're in.
That's true.
You know, I used to try to take kids to different areas of Atlanta so you can see different houses, so you can see what you can get. Right. Because until you're exposed to that, you really don't know. Right. And even you said, well, your parents should know. And I will say this, my parents used to do that, more so my grandma. My grandma would take me to fancy restaurants. She would take us on church trips, and we would go visit these churches that were like these beautiful, amazing churches in these fancy neighborhoods. And we would drive through those neighborhoods, and we were like, what the heck is going on? You know, we don't live like this. So it made me dream. My dad, even though, you know, my issues with him, he would take us out to the country. You know, I see these big, beautiful, vast lands, and I actually think that's where I developed my love of horses, because he would take us out horseback riding and stuff like that. So you're right. But at the same token, when I went back home, before we moved to the county, it was the inner city, you know, and a lot of people had parents that. You bring up a good question, because you talked about with 7 sisters. Is it 5 sisters? It's a total of 9 altogether between both marriages with my dad, but I grew up with 6. Okay. Are all of them, and I don't want to say successful, but at the same time, are all of them, would you think that they're on the same level of success with their career path that you? No. So what would be different? Because if all of y'all were sisters, that y'all didn't get pregnant, right? You know, but what was that part we got right? Yeah. But once again, going back to choices, right? People, and this is why I'm not trying to be heartless, and I don't want to be insensitive. I've seen in my own family how people do have the opportunity to do better and choose to not do better. So what would make that happen? I'm saying if y'all grew up in a sense the same, I know you had split households sometimes, but I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. It's a choice. Sometimes it's a choice, but it's an individual person too. Exactly. And I'll be real with you guys.
I'm not talking to everybody. Most people, out of the books that I just mentioned, out of the advice that you're giving, out of the advice I'm giving, most people aren't going to take that advice.
Right.
It's the same. Okay, going back to weight loss. Okay, I was not overweight my whole life. I didn't get overweight until I was in my mid 30s, and I've been overweight now for going on 15 years, and so that was a choice. I'm not putting myself down. I'm telling the truth. I chose to not eat healthier stuff. So why am I all of a sudden now consistently losing weight? I have my ups and downs, but like I'm low, my weight is going lower. And I'm watching my legs get toner. I'm watching this belly, try to move a little bit because I'm actually doing the work now. Now, if you all watch my journey, the intense journey, I'm on day 246. I haven't been I call it the intense journey, but I looked at it the other day and was like, I ain't been intense. If I was intense, I wouldn't still be overweight. So I kicked it up a notch this week. I kicked it up a notch. That is a choice. It was a choice when I went and had, ice cream. It was a choice when I went and had a bunch of Indian food with rice and butter and cheese and stuff like that. That was a choice. Whereas somebody else might go to dinner with me and just have, the little veggie plate without the bread and stuff like that. Right. It was a choice. Now I can sit here and go, I just don't know. I don't know. I just don't know better. Yeah, I do.
Right. I'm saying most people do know that everything is a better option. You have options. Here's what I would say.
Not everybody that's in the inner city or in urban communities is underfed or fat.
Well, no. Here's the thing. There's never 100% of anything.
Right.
There's never a black and white. Either all of y'all are just uneducated and none of y'all are trying to do better.
Right.
No, some of them are, but they don't. They do need assistance to get to the next place.
Of course.
They do take these stimulus package and invest it in their life and try to do better.
Absolutely.
A lot of people that you always hear these stories of, they had the rags to riches, the failure to fabulous lifestyles. Granted, there's those individuals out there. Out of all of your sisters, you are one of them that said, you know what, I'm going to pull myself up out of bootstraps and I'm going to be something, I'm going to do something. Right. Everybody has their difference of life, their choices. What I would say is most people don't realize what's all inside of them or what all they can do.
I feel like that's where I feel like that's where we come into play. That's where other people come into play. That's where the successful people do come into play. You each one teach one. We're supposed to go back to the community and tell the truth.
Right.
And say that, listen, you are not, my dad always told us, you are somebody.
Right. That's an interesting guy. I'm saying all the influence, but at the same time, here's the thing.
He was a major influence.
You are somebody and understand what is possessed inside of you.
Yeah.
If you look at just a regular seed, a seed, if it's put in the wrong place, it doesn't do anything.
Right.
But if you put a seed in the middle of the street or whatever, I'm saying, well, you plant it with the right moisture and the right soil and everything, you have a forest really.
Yeah.
Because that seed can grow to trees, and that seed produces seeds that grows more and more and more. What we forget is who we are and what is inside of us.
Absolutely. That system, and that comes from going back to the reality of it. That does go back to systemic racism. That does go back to the fact that we were taught we were nothing. That's
why I go back to, how do you reprogram yourself?
And I agree.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: it's going back to what you said. How do you reprogram yourself?
Right. And
I can help you all day long. Like you said, there were 6 girls in our house, and I don't bring up my brother, but my brother was very successful up until he had mental breakdown. He suffers from bipolar disorder, and he has some major mental breakdowns, and also got into drug use and stuff like that. And so his life has not, been
panned
where
he
out the one he wanted to be. But he was one of the reasons why I became successful. Because he taught me more about the tree care industry.
See,
he wanted to take it to another level, but he suffered from mental illness.
That's so much of a blessing for you and your upbringing.
It absolutely
and you can't take you can't take that for granted, because a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah, but there's people that are way more like me. I talk about the fact that I've made so many mistakes, and I've messed up money, I've accrued debt, and I've done stupid stuff. But there's people I've got a sister of mine right now. She's not in debt. She's never accrued debt.
Right.
She bought her house at a much younger age than I bought my first house. You know, she's married at a younger age, committed to a guy that, you know, she didn't date a whole lot. You know, she met somebody, fell in love, got married, bought a house, works in the medical field. Nobody in our family worked in the medical field. But that was her path.
Right.
To building a successful life. So same household, different result as far as our choices and careers.
Right.
But she's a successful young lady at a much younger age than I was. So you can have those influences, but it's what you do with those. But I also have another sister that is in and out of jail. She's a thief. You know, I mean, seriously, you know, she goes around stealing from old people. That's what she does. My parents didn't teach her to do that. That's a choice.
Something was in that, you know, like I said, everybody. So to make a long story short, as we wrap up this episode of Donnie Jones, you know, everybody does have a choice. You know, and even me as a pastor, I look at people and I understand that I don't want to be self-righteous to say, look at me and you should be like me because I've done this. Right. Because it's not fair and it's not true. You know, everybody has their...
I don't think that's being self-righteous. I think that's being real. You look at you. That's what I want people to do. I want people to look at you.
No, because
and that's why I want you to talk more about your story sometimes.
No, time out. I am flawed.
I am flawed too.
And that's what I want to get people to understand is we all are flawed. But I'm not going to sit there and judge you because of
judging. I'm not talking about judging, Marty.
You're saying that I want to guide people to their better them.
Yes,
you
their
know,
best self.
and understanding that if you know where you're at right now, then you can make a plan of where you're going to.
Absolutely.
You know, and you have to see yourself.
Right.
So, you know, I can't criticize people, you know, because
I'm not talking about criticizing, but I'm talking about stop buying the excuses.
Right. Oh yeah.
Excuses and we were talking about Democrats and Republicans, and I was saying the problem that I have with the Democrat side is they treat us like we're the woe is me community, and we're not. There's greatness in our community. There's people that are doing great things in the black, specifically the black community. There's people that are doing some. You're right. It is some, and those are the some that chose to take a different path. And just to be real with you, most 90% are not going to take a different path. Most of the people that might be listening to this are going, well, who does she think she is? But there's somebody out there that's going, you know what, I get what she's saying. I understand exactly what she's saying, and I can do better. Yeah. That's the person that I'm saying.
You and I agree with you on that. You know, somebody needs to hear this and understand that there is a better way. There's a new day, and I have options. You know, and that's the biggest thing is just making sure that you have options. And if anything, add value to you. You know, add value to yourself.
Because I want to close out on a positive note. I'll give a couple and you can give a couple. How can somebody reprogram themselves? What's a start that they can do?
Start education, travel is things that you, once you see.
How they gonna travel and they ain't got no, I'm sorry, go ahead. Just.
Walk, get a bike, you know. But no, education is key. That unlocks your mind so you can see new things. Yeah. If you're able to get out of your own little community, you know, and sometimes understand it's just getting out of that little city, you know, that educates you more. And also, you know, make a plan, find out where do you want to go and how do I get there? You know, and I'll end on this. I took a class on project management and they said, okay, if you wanted to make a cake, how do you plan on making the cake? Well, you take the end result and then you work backwards. You know, what time is it supposed to be there? Okay, how long does it take for it to bake? How long, what kind of icing? If you want to be successful in life, what is your picture of success? And work your way to that, make a plan. Okay, you know, good deal. And I'll say that, make a plan and then know who you are.
Yep, and I would say read a book and make a plan. We're at the end of the show, so I'm gonna piggyback on everything he just said. You guys, you've been listening to Donnie Jones Live. I'm Donnie the Tree Lady.
And I am Marty McFly, and I want to remind everybody what she said. If you can't afford her book, if you call and reference it, she will send you a copy for free.
I sure will.
Only on this.
Only on,
yeah. All right. If you hit this on a rerun, it don't count. All right. Anyway, Donnie, love you as always. Great day. And we will talk next week. You're listening to
Donnie Jones Live.
Yep. With
Yeah.
Donnie Jones and Barney McFly. Face game.
It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie